It's extremely difficult. I studied constantly in PA school. We had 3 to 4 exams per week. PA school is simultaneously a marathon and sprint that pushes your brain beyond its limits. Despite reading and watching all of this, information, nothing could have prepared me for my experience. ¿Qué onda, plebes? My name is Mario Navarro. I'm the Mexican PA, a second-year PA student at UC Davis in Sacramento, California. And in this video, I'll be sharing some of the challenges I faced transitioning into PA school, the workload during my didactic year, and also just some of the things that I wish I knew before starting. Let's get into it. First, the transition. I get into my 2007 salvage Nissan Altima after eating dinner with Jenny, my fiance at the time. I pull my phone out of my pocket and the screen turns on and I notice that I have a notification. I unlock my phone and read the email every pre-PA student hopes to receive. Congratulations from UC Davis. We are delighted to recommend you for admission to the summer 2021 physician assistant cohort. I immediately look at Jenny sitting in the passenger seat with tears in my eyes and a big smile on my face, and I tell her, we got into Davis. I say we because she truly was the editor-in-chief of my entire PA school application. In that moment, I was excited and thankful. All of my hard work had paid off and I was gonna become a PA. The week following the news of my acceptance, Jenny and I drove 8 hours from Colton, California and SoCal to the UC Davis Medical Campus in Sacramento, California. This was my first time seeing the school, and let me tell you guys, it was breathtaking. My first day of PA school was scheduled for June 23rd, 2021, and between January of that year to June, a lot was about to go down. My wife and I got married in March 2021. We moved 3 separate times during that summer, and I truly struggled to find us an apartment in Sac. I remember scouring websites like Zillow and just looking everywhere for small homes and apartments to apply to. And each time that I inquired or sent an application, I would soon get an email response that said the home wasn't available anymore. In my mind, I envisioned myself having, a stable routine, a steady space, a home before starting PA school so that I could fully focus on my education. On the first day of PA school, I logged into Zoom while still living in SoCal, in a home that my wife and I were actually house sitting on a desk that was not my own, with no idea where or when we would actually move to Sacramento. Thankfully, my classes were mainly online because of COVID, but having that uncertainty really sucked. Over the next 2 weeks, I flew to Sac about 2 times for in-person labs and to see other apartments, and by the grace of God, we soon found a safe and comfortable apartment to call home, this place. On July 24th, 2021, we moved to Sacramento, which happened to be 2 days before my first PA school exam. So you could bet it was stressful. Now let's talk about the sheer amount of work. Rather than telling you my subjective experience that the days were long and that the rigor of the program was like nothing I've ever experienced before, I want to really break down the volume as objectively as possible. My didactic phase of PA school started from late June 2021, as I said before, through the first week of August 2022. In that time, I completed 5 10-week quarters that were 15 units on average, divided between 3 to 4 courses. We learned about pathophysiology, pharmacology, clinical skills, and usually an additional course like a research course. The topics we covered entailed everything from ear, nose, and throat disorders, dermatology, pulmonology, nephrology, genitourinary, hematology, oncology, ophthalmology, cardiology, gastroenterology, endocrinology, gender health, rheumatology, which just stands for musculoskeletal disorders, neurology, psychiatry, emergency medicine, general surgery, women's health, pediatrics, geriatrics, and infectious disease in that order. The information was typically delivered through PowerPoint presentations, around 600 slides per week. That's roughly 6,000 slides in a 10-week quarter, and I won't do the math for the entire year, but you get the idea. Most exams were administered every 2 weeks, with multiple exams either falling on the same day, back-to-back, or the following day. In total, during my didactic year, I took 40 exams. Each exam had around 60 multiple choice questions on average. That's 2,400 exam questions that were administered to me over the didactic year. To prepare for some of these exams, particularly the clinical medicine component, I would do around 3 100 question practice exams before the actual, test. That's 5,400 practice questions that I did over the year. As for Anki cards, I learned 25,603 cards. That's around 600 cards per exam. At the end of this, I completed one 225 question cumulative didactic exam administered by this organization called the PAEA, called the PACRAT. And this stands for the Physician Assistant Clinical Knowledge Rating and Assessment Tool. So yeah, there's a ton of work involved and it seems overwhelming, and it is. But if you're watching this and you've been accepted into a program, please recognize that you did not get in by accident. You have the complete capacity to not only survive PA school, but thrive. The material we learn in PA school isn't necessarily difficult to understand, but the volume is intense, which means that your study techniques better be efficient. That being said, go watch my videos on how I studied and got most A's during didactic. I'll link that stuff below or up here, somewhere in here. And lastly, what I wish I knew before I started PA school. I unfortunately did not track the amount of times I cried, I laughed, was angry, I was happy, I slept late, the hugs, hype, and prayers I received from my wife, the amount of times that I longed for a hug from my mom, phone calls that I got from family members, the phone calls that I got from my best friend since middle school, phone calls from my dad. I wish I knew my didactic year would be difficult because of the move, the financial stress, of the long hours, because of the exams, the studying that I would have to do, the imposter syndrome, because of all the things that I've talked about in this video. I wish I knew sooner that in order to be successful, it is necessary that you do not neglect the things and people that bring you joy. You're gonna learn a lot in PA school, but you're not expected to memorize and have everything committed to your brain. Learn how to figure out what the high yield stuff is. Spend your study time on the information that is most likely to be tested. Do practice questions. And intentionally schedule time with your wife, kids, the gym, hobbies, whatever fills your cup outside of school. Lastly, I am a Christian, and hopefully this is an encouragement to some of you. I personally recognize that my story was made possible through the direct provision of God in every season and trial that I faced. Every card I memorized, every exam that I passed, every mistake that I made, and every blessing received, I recognize was from Him and through Him. And I know that whatever comes my way in these next 7 months that I have left of PA school, my God will continue to provide and sustain me like He always has. Thank you for watching. Animo, plebes. That's it.